It's all good. Oh, we're ready.
Good. We'll go start with questions.
Lynn, how are you?
I'm well. I appreciate you guys all coming. Thanks for being here. Appreciate seeing you guys, and it's always a great day to be a Ute, man.
Well, looking at the latest net rankings, you guys are positioned in a good spot. You're top 20, I believe, 17? I mean, but you've also got a really tough conference that you're playing. And where do you feel like the program is at today, knowing that you've still got more to prove, but you're better than last year?
Yeah, I mean, I think our schedule has been really good in terms of we've gotten some great wins, and the losses we have had are not quote unquote bad losses. So the teams we've lost to are all ahead of us in the net, and good teams. Stanford, at Oregon, at Arizona, at Oklahoma. Those are all top 15 teams. And they're all close games. And it's frustrating to not win some of those, but, for lack of a better way to say it, we've won the games we need to win, or, should win, or whatever, however you say it. And we're just continuing to get better. So this is a good group. Where is the program? I think it's in a great spot. We have the number one offense in the country in terms of points per possession and efficiency. And that's not just through 4 or 5 games, that's through the bulk of the season. And, at Colorado, we started 3 freshmen and 2 sophomores. So the majority of our team is freshmen and sophomores, and they're talented and they're hungry and they love being at Utah. And so I feel cautiously optimistic about where we're at. And I do believe, this could be a breakthrough year for us.
Yeah, when you recruited Gianna, obviously you knew she'd be good, or you wouldn't have recruited her, but did you realize that she'd be this good, this early?
I mean, anytime, she averaged 43 points a game her senior year. I think she finished with 3,700 career points in high school, which is ridiculous, for lack of a better word. So I knew she could score, but anytime you have those players that are just so, kind of decorated in that way, you're not sure at this level how quickly it'll translate. And it depends on the kid and kind of their makeup, other than their ability to, other than their skill, I guess, or their basketball ability. But so to answer your question, yeah, I am kind of surprised. Surprised isn't the word. I'm more just impressed with her consistency. I mean, she's been phenomenal. But she is a humble kid. Comes from just a great family of, where it's about work ethic, and she's in the gym every day. That, I know coaches use that, like, oh, they're in the gym all the time. She literally is in the gym all the time. So it's a great asset for our team to have somebody like that can just score. And I think, it's a mindset for her. She wants the ball in those situations, and everybody can say that, like, yeah, I want to take that shot, but in the game you can see her. Like, it's genuine, and the confidence is genuine, which is rare for a freshman. So we'll take it. I've had so many coaches in our conference just talk about what a player she is and a future pro. So she's, she can stay with her head screwed on straight, as she has so far. I think the sky truly is the limit for her.
At this point, just with the scheduling and the resume, how optimistic are you that you might get one, some, or all of the postponed games back?
I think we're going to get, we made up the game at Oregon, and then I think we're going to get one more at home, hopefully next week. So it's close to being finalized. It hasn't been officially finalized, but, just to try to keep the balance of home and away, we lost 2 road games and 3 home games. So we need one of those makeups to be home. So hopefully that works out. I mean, some coaches are, maybe not as interested in playing those makeup games, or they don't like how it's, but I want to play as many games as you can. The kids want to play. So hopefully we get one more at home. It does add certainly a wrinkle to your schedule. We had 5 games in 9 days, and 4 of those 5 were on the road in different cities. So it's, a bunch of different flights and travel, and it requires a lot of flexibility, but, everybody wants to play in our program. Like, we want to play, and even if it does set up a disadvantage for fatigue or whatever on the backside.
When you have an interesting schedule where you have Colorado back to back,
Yeah.
you lose to them in overtime. Obviously, you fought hard, but then you come back and you beat them. I mean, what kind of resolve does that say about your team, or kind of what takeaways do you have from some scenario like that?
Yeah, I was as proud as I could be on Sunday. And like I said, that was our 5th game in 9 days on the road, coming off a tough overtime loss where we didn't play very well. Colorado beat us, give them credit, but we didn't feel like we played that well. And then we didn't have Drew Gilton, who's kind of our glue player on Sunday. Starting point, she started every game here in her career, so she didn't play. She's injured, and so to have that and then to lead from the jump to the final minute really showed some toughness. To coming out again, coming back, looking back at what the last 10 days had been. Stanford at home, at Arizona State, at Oregon, Colorado, then at Colorado. That's a tough stretch. So I think just all in all, it just shows some toughness. And it's hard to play teams twice in 36 hours. It's a challenge just from a coaching and adjustment standpoint. But, it is what it is.
Another question on Gianna.
Sure.
Do you have any anecdotes about recruiting her? What kind of stands out, or kind of how did you get kind of attention or notice, or how did you
Yeah.
find her, basically?
Well, we noticed her as a 9th grader, and she was definitely under the radar. She's from Duluth, which I don't know if any of you guys have been out there. It's cold. And she plays for, she played for a pretty well-known club team in Minnesota. But she wasn't one of the high-profile athletes coming out of Minnesota at that time, freshman, sophomore, and then she kind of blew up there before her junior year. But COVID kind of threw everything in recruiting off because kids couldn't visit. And so we had done our work early with her, so that really kind of played into our ability to get her. That class of 2021s weren't really able to take official visits anywhere, so it's kind of like where they had been recruited before. The heavy recruiting time is a lot of times kids were committing. So that's kind of how we ended up with her. I know, University of Minnesota wanted her, and there was a lot of local schools, but not as many as you'd think. And so, I think what our staff has done a really good job of, and my staff is the recruiting, our assistant coaches have identified maybe the kids that aren't the flash, the diamond in the rough. And it's hard for us to get, at this stage, maybe those 5-star, high-profile, sexy recruits that are getting recruited by UCLA and Stanford. Those are tough. We'll be in there if we have a shot, but we have to do a good job of finding the young ones that can really be an impact early. So that's what we did with Gianna. And we're glad we did.
February is always that tricky month because you obviously want to be peaking at the right time and you want to really kind of shore up everything that you've got. Where do you feel like you guys need to go, this month, heading into conference tournament, hopefully tournament play? Where do you feel like you need to take that next step?
Well, I think it's, coming off the Colorado game, I think it's the same stuff. In February, every team in the country, men's and women's basketball, is tired. They're beat up. They're banged up. Everybody's got injuries. You're mentally fatigued. And it is the time when you need to start playing at you need to start clicking at the highest level. So I want to get some momentum in February, and it's going to take some serious toughness, but one at a time. This group's done a nice job of not, where we say, be where your feet are. Let's just worry about the next game and just work on getting better. So I want us to be as tough as we can be in February. That's who wins, especially in our league, the teams that can execute down the stretch, that can show up and play as hard as you can every time, not have those lapses after the game, be like, man, we just didn't play as hard as we could have. You can't have any of that in February. So, in answer to your other question about where the program's at, that's the step our program needs to take. We need to be really solid in February. We don't have to go undefeated, but we got to win the games we need to win and be as tough as we can and continue to learn and get better. What can we learn from every game? Well, again, wonderful to see you, gentlemen. Thank you. We'll see you next time. And we play Friday, 7 p.m., UW. See you there.
Marco, obviously it's okay. Marco, obviously it's been a tough stretch. It's not something you guys imagined ever having. But what are you kind of your morale and kind of especially as a team leader, where do you kind of take things right now?
I think of it as the path to mastery. There's a book I read called Chop Wood, Carry Water, and it talks about how there's like a short growth spurt, there's a slight dip, and there's a long plateau. And I feel like the streak we've been on, that's been that plateau. So just the way life goes, we're due for that growth spurt, and I feel like January ending is that time.
Marco, from an individual standpoint, you haven't done much of any losing during your career between your other two stops. You know, I'm curious how this has been for you, you know, with the struggle and trying to get back on the right side of things.
Of course, it's been tough, but I feel like when everything's, you know, all glitters and rainbows, that, you know, that's when you're on the high road. And whenever you're like losing how we are now, that's when it shows your true character. And just trying to build off that and just not quitting and understanding that this is a marathon that we're going through. It keeps, you know, morale's high and keeps us going and keeps us, you know, wanting to get better each and every day so we could get out this slump that we're in.
Marco, what would your message be to fans who might be, you know, thinking, why should I come out and watch these guys? They've lost the games they've lost, even though they've been really close, admittedly. What would that message be?
Yeah, I mean, we know it's tough. Don't think that, you know, we're giving up on the season or I don't know how you could tank in college basketball, but we're not doing that. You know, we're coming out, we're giving our all each and every game, but, you know, we've just got in the, you know, the other end, and that's been losing this past month and, you know, the 10 straight games. But season's far from over, and we understand that we have to figure things out rather quickly, but I'm confident, the team's confident, the coach is confident that we're going to figure this thing out.
You've obviously been competitive against Arizona, UCLA, USC, those upper echelon teams. You know, you kept those games close. Where do you feel like this program has to move forward, or what does this team need to do to take that next step?
I think it's continuing to build, especially on the fact that the games we've lost, it hasn't been anything out of our control. Like I feel like Washington, for example, since that was our last game, the biggest thing was the turnovers that we had late, and just those type of things, those type of mental errors. Once we could figure out, you know, fixing that and then just building off of it and not making the same mistake twice, then, you know, it's just going to be golden for us.
So I don't know if you follow what the Aggies are doing or not, but any regrets about where you are right now?
No. I feel like everything happens for a reason, and, you know, the spot you're put in, you know, it's all for a reason. So I have no regrets in the decisions I've made. And, you know, I have been following them. I've been seeing what they're doing, and, you know, those are still my, you know, I still call them my brothers because, you know, we were all together last year, and I'm proud of what they're doing. But, you know, being a Ute now, I have to control what I can control, and that's being here, being in the moment.
It feels like this season has just been kind of one turning event to a next, right? I mean, you have injuries, or you have, you know, Brandon with his various things. I mean, how hard is it as a player? Just have you ever been a part of this type of system where it's so hard to be able to get that consistency, knowing that that's maybe could help along the way?
Oh no, I've never experienced anything like this. You know, the injury I had earlier this season, never had it. Then, you know, the whole injury bug we had, and then, you know, with BC and his appendicitis, it's just been a whole like roller coaster. But, you know, you just got to keep moving forward.
Any other questions for Marco? All right. Thanks, Marco.
So I appreciate y'all.
Craig, you've obviously had a great coaching career and probably have never been through a stretch like this. How do you manage to keep smiling and just kind of what's your mindset going through this?
Been doing this 26 years, and certainly the hardest stretch as a head coach. And we had a stretch in January when our second year at South Dakota that was not real easy. But as an assistant, been through this. And so, our first year at Colorado State, we were 0-16 in league play, and we won the 8-9 game. At that time, Utah was still in the league at that time, and we were playing in the 8-9 game, and we won. It felt like we won the Super Bowl. And then the next year, we won 4 games. We won 7 games that first year at Colorado State. We won 3 games in 4 days. We won the Fairbanks. It was called the Top of the World tournament. I am. And I think they realized, wow, if a team that's not going to win a league game and only win 7 games all year can win our tournament, we're gonna stop the tournament, and that's what happened. And then the following year we won 4 conference games, and it was a long 2 years for sure. But this team, we have a really good group of guys. As a whole. And so it's been fun. Well, it's been hard. I know it's been hard on everybody in a lot of respects, but at the same time, it's easy to see. I mean, just watching our game with Oregon State this morning, how we have gotten a lot better. And at some point it's going to show, right, in the win-loss column. But all you can control is your attitude and your effort. And you got to keep coaching and show up every day, like with energy and enthusiasm, and hopefully inspire your guys, whether it's the coaching staff, your support personnel, and the guys in our program, to keep aspiring to be the best that we can be as a team on an individual basis, keep growing them and developing. And, that's what else can you do, right? So we can sit here and mope around and sulk and pout and feel sorry for ourselves, but it doesn't do anything. What good does that do? And so you got to be your best every day. And I don't want to get into all the cliches, but those are the facts. And we're going to pour ourselves in the players and be there for them without coddling them, right? Coaching, instructing, holding guys accountable to be the very best that they can be. That last game was a heck of a game, and we left a few plays out there where we just, it's such a fine line on winning and losing, and they made some big-time plays too that were tough plays, and they did. And sometimes when you're winning, you just find ways to win. Sometimes when you're losing, I don't know that we found a way to lose, but there were certainly a couple plays we left out there that, wish we could have back. But that's part of life, and you just got to keep on chopping.
You said on the radio show last night that you feel your group recently became galvanized, was the word you used. I'm hoping that you can expound on that a little bit. Maybe when do you feel like that happened, and maybe what led to that?
Yeah. As soon as I said that, I almost regretted it. I just thought we had a really good listen, we had every opportunity to beat UCLA 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? And missed 2 wide open threes. And we played well, like USC, and we're not into moral victory. We played those guys tough. Even though it wasn't perfect, we were still like right there. And Arizona, 3 weeks ago, not that we were going to win, but it was a 3-point game with 12, and we did some really, really good things. And, Arizona State made one more play than us. Washington made one more play than us. But I just thought we had a big time look in our locker room. Our preparation was very, very good, and our team felt different on Saturday. Just as a group, you could watch the whole game. Our bench was just so locked into the game the whole time. It was easy to see on the replay. You could feel it during the game. It was probably the second hardest environment we played in, maybe third, but clearly at Arizona was our toughest environment. When we played at USC, that was a really good environment. Lincoln Riley had just been hired, and there was a ton of students there. And so whatever, it was the second or third best environment. And we just had a steely kind of look to us. You know what I mean? We had a gritty look to us. Our chemistry was big time. You could just feel the unity within the team. And so that's just what it felt like. And I won't go any further than that.
Craig, obviously the last month of conference play as you head into the tournament and everything that way, conference tournament. What do you feel like your team can do? Obviously you've got to break that losing streak, but what do you feel like you need to do to take that next step to maybe galvanize guys maybe a little bit more, to give them a chance to be able to believe, even if they are believing right now, but actually getting it?
I mean, obviously, you want to win a game. I mean, you want to get in the win column, and not just once, but multiple times. But all you can just do it is the more times you give yourself the opportunity, obviously, the more likely you're gonna win. And so we just got to keep giving ourselves opportunities and come out and play the very best that we can be, and then just keep getting better at all the different phases of the game. And so. I wish I had a crystal ball to give you the exact, but because it's all cliche-ish, I get it. But literally, it's just, just keep giving yourselves opportunities, and hopefully you can burst through the door and then keep on going with it, because I feel like that is what could happen.
Following up on that, do you sometimes feel like it's harder as a player, as a coaching staff, to kind of get through the weeds? Obviously, you're here long term, right? Like it's a tough business, so that's not necessarily a guarantee. But you can kind of see through seasons, whereas some players, they've got a very limited time span here, and they want to win now. How hard is that to kind of balance those, knowing that you can see maybe progress, but it's hard to keep the players seeing that?
Yeah, it's a great question. I try to take a lot of pride in getting better on a day-to-day basis, and I think the guys can see they've gotten better. I think they can see it as a team, and I think you can see it individually. Not every guy, but I think all in all, there's certain guys that have clearly grown and developed and gotten better. It's really easy to see when you watch film of our team. That's when it's just crystal clear. So it's easy for me because every day, I love what I'm doing. I love to coach. I love to get better. I try to approach every day like we're 0-0, whether we're really good or not as good as we want to be. And I think that's important to have that kind of mindset, because I am a history major. However, if you're majoring in history with some of this stuff, that's a problem. If you're resting on your laurels because you've won 8 in a row, you're going to be disappointed really, really soon. And so again, it goes back to your attitude and your effort. And I got to see the big picture, but you got to see the picture, paint the picture, sell the picture, right? You got to see the picture and where we're at. You got to paint the picture, and then you got to sell it. So it's all three, and I think our guys have done a good job of jumping in that way to make it happen. I've said it over and over. These guys get 4 years, maybe 5 years, counting a redshirt year, and obviously we have the COVID year, but you get one career. I had a talk with one of our guys not too long ago, and I've seen this before with certain players. When you have a good team, you usually have a team full of gym rats. But it's always interesting at this time of year with some seniors when they know it's the end or getting to the end, and they can be distracted at times, right? And I don't know that this is too much the case with our team, but they start thinking to the next phase, or the season gets over, and maybe you got a guy that doesn't like to get in the gym a lot on his own. And then all of a sudden their college career is over, and now they're thinking, oh, I'm going to be a pro. Then you see them in the gym all the time. And it's like, what a disconnect, how 4 years or 5 years, how you didn't see how that impacts you being a pro. You know what I mean? And so we're trying to win every game, right? And we're not playing, a freshman or freshmen just because they're freshmen, because we're trying to develop the future. That's not how we're approaching this at all. Those two guys specifically, Steph and Gabe, however you want to label Gabe, he's got 4 years left. Same with Raleigh, quite frankly. He's got 4 years. So, we're not playing them just because they're freshmen and they're young and they're going to keep getting better, but because they've done a good job. And are there some inconsistencies? Yeah, but I think we've seen that a little bit with some of our roster, right, on a night-to-night basis.
I had a separate topic, but I'll follow up on.
I know you were
on this.
very disappointed after your last question, so I'm sorry.
I can read between those lines. We're good. Have any of the older guys with 1 year left, have any of them indicated to you that they intend to come back, they intend to move forward? Have any of those conversations taken place?
That's a great question, too. And I'm not saying that just we haven't gone down that road with our guys specifically. And we'll have to see if we're going to, we're going to have that conversation here soon. Just, we have to have an idea, right, for recruiting. Obviously. So there's still, a month, 5 weeks left in the regular season. There's a lot that can change, I feel like, between now and then too. But at the end of the day, obviously it's their decision. If we have to talk somebody into staying or, that type of thing, that's not what you want. So, but coming up here soon, I think we'll start crossing that bridge a little bit. We just want our guys super locked into what's going on and keep going with the process. But I would guess, and I don't know this for a fact, I'm sure some guys know exactly what they're doing, and I'm guessing some guys are still a little bit unsure. And either way, right? I'm done. I'm going pro. I'm coming back. I might look elsewhere, or vehemently say I'm coming back.
Earlier this morning, you guys announced the MTE for next season. You guys walked in the door last spring kind of hamstrung with what you could do with your schedule. Time was a little short. You have control of your schedule next season. How important was it to find a more competitive, better MTE with some resume opportunities?
Well, just to have, we played Fresno, obviously. We had the 2 games. Well, Sacramento State was set this year. Fresno, we knew we needed to play, and Missouri. And so now we are back at BYU next year, right? And we have TCU, who's having a heck of a year. We'll be at our place at Vivint. So it's not obviously a true home game, but so those are the 2 games we know we have to have. Then we added this MTE, and we're really excited about the MTE. 3 very quality programs, well, 4 counting us. We got to obviously keep getting better, but I'm really excited about it. I know it's going to be very well run, high level competition, and obviously a great destination and the perfect time of year to go out there and do that. So I do think we'll have a decent amount of. We're going to have a different team next year in a lot of respects, I think. And so I think it's great to get out there right away and see where you're at relatively early in the season. I would anticipate we'll have, 3 or 4 games before that tournament. So we're thrilled to be a part of that event. And we always want to play really good competition that way. And I think those will be 4 games right out of the chute that we know, right, with TCU, BYU, and then whomever we play in that event.
Craig, with the Beavers coming Thursday, obviously over there, Jared Lucas really went off on you guys. Do you have an answer for him this time, or how are you going to defend him and the Beavers?
Hopefully we defend him, and definitely hopefully a lot better, right? Like going into that game, I think he had, counting our game, I think it was 5 straight games over 20 points, and he was on a tear at that point. Obviously, he's an elite shooter, one of the best in our league, if not the best. He can really, really get it going. And they do a good job. They're running him off triple staggers, some down screens. He has great elevation. When we're watching these guys, we're statting every single catch and every shot and how they get to him. And he's a right pull-up, a left pull-up. Right, he can hard curl a screen. He knows how to read a screen. He fades it out. He does a really good job of playing at his pace, slow to fast, and he can just burst. And we had a difficult time with that, at their place, finding someone that can keep up to his speed. And then when we were in front of him, then we struggled. And he's not like an elite blow-by guy, but he's deceptive that way. He does a great job playing off his shot fake, which a guy like him should do. So, we'll find out, right? Jay, we'll find out. He just went off on us, 25 in every which way. He had a little bit in transition, a lot in the half court, got to his pull-up, had a really difficult shot off end out of bounds play. And so, we've had an issue at times with that. So last time we tried a few different guys on him, and I'm sure we'll do the same this time. And we're going to have to make a few adjustments where the whole team has to do a better job guarding him. But he's certainly their alpha dog that way. And number 10, how do you say his name? There you go. And he obviously the Pac-12 Conference Player of the Tournament last year. Is a guy that can do a lot of different things, and he hurt us in some spots as well. But I think both programs are a little bit in the same spot, right? Their last win was against us. They've had different COVID shutdowns. They play a lot of guys. I think they play 11 guys, 9.9 minutes or more. Now, some of those guys don't haven't played every game for various reasons, right? Whether it's an injury or COVID protocols or whatever it might be. So you're searching, and they've been close. I mean, they're up one at USC with 3.5 minutes to go. So they play really, really hard. They're very athletic at almost every position, more so than we are that way. And so we're going to have to play well, a lot better than we did last time.
Craig, I have to ask, but do you expect Duchamp to play at all this year?
I'm going to stick with the quote, and we'll see what happens from there.
Any other questions for Coach? All right. Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you, guys.